Public inquiries. My name's Mike Cashman. This is a report from the Health and Safety Commission, and it covers progress on recommendations from 2 disastrous train crashes. 7 people lost their lives in the train crash at Southall on 19th of September 1997. Many others were injured. Professor John Off was appointed to chair the public inquiry. It was published in 2000. At Ladbroke Grove on 5th of October 1999, there was a crash in which 31 people lost their lives and many others were injured. Lord Cullen was appointed to chair the public inquiry. He held it in 2 parts. The Part 1 report was published in June 2001 with 89 recommendations. Part 2, which was wider issues of safety management, was published in September 2001 with 74 recommendations. There was a concern to learn lessons. There was a joint Cullen report bringing the 2 together. And this is a progress report from the Health and Safety Commission in 2002. The reason I have it is I was working with Railway Safety and the Strategic Rail Authority to ensure the competence of the people who were trying to make sure that such things never happened again. The people I was working with worked with the survivors groups actually from these train crashes in order to understand their concerns but also explain the way forward to them. Now, the reason that I raise this now is in the context of a public inquiry concerning the UK government's response to coronavirus. It is nonsense to say we will leave it till sometime in the future to learn some lessons. Lessons should be learnt as soon as possible. Of course, the government doesn't want a public inquiry. They are already in the position in which the National Audit Office report is quite scathing in terms of the crony corrupt contracting for PPE, which will have cost lives. If you procure the wrong product, then somebody doesn't have the right product. They may catch coronavirus while on duty in the NHS. They have died. So it's a serious matter, and the government is wrong to continually postpone the public inquiry and say that lessons can be learned later, but not now. It should be taken seriously. At the same time, one way of putting that message across is with an element of jest, an element of song. I know this is a serious subject, but we got Leon Berger to sing the public inquiry Nightmare, which is the last song in our 5-act musical, what the Sunday Times called Coronavirus the Musical. It's labelled here as the COVID-19 musical. You can get the lyrics here. You can get the CD. We also have it on USB. Look on Amazon or Etsy for viewdelta.com. And all this, therefore, is by way of introduction to Leon Berger and his public inquiry Nightmare. Sleep it away, Leon.
When I'm lying awake with a dismal headache and whether I'll sleep there's no knowing, concerned by a cough and the duvet slips off and I'm worried the way the world's going. The waiting's infinite, I hope in a minute to drop into deep restful slumber, but the night is half gone, put the radio on with sleep timer on some hopeful number. It plays the world news and then I hear whose infection spread terrible warning. It's always depressing and leaves me still guessing if sleep's ever coming till morning. And my mind is all fiery on public inquiry, at least it implies that they're trying. Has the tide really turned? Will the lessons be learned? Or will it be so much more lying? Will I get some repose in the form of a dose with a throat and head ever aching? But my slumbered in teams has just horrible dreams that I'd very much better be waking. From my dream 2020, delays are aplenty. How to inquire, what's the preference? Just how should we drive it, as public or private, deciding their own terms of reference? And our Parliament will pass inquiries bill, which they say is for acceleration. So the government choose any chairperson who's put in charge of the investigation. For speed, then of course it can all be outsourced. By the way, it's 2021. I can't quite remember, it may be December and still no inquiry is done. So it's now 22 and procurement is due, establishing who be the witness and who is equipped. Number 10 is tight-lipped about the new chairman's full fitness. But now we are failing, they're pushing Chris Grayling, but protest prevents that bestowment. PM's friend from the Garrick, though somewhat barbaric, is given a job for the moment. Well, we've reached 23 in the new company, which is called Faculty Undertaking. Did you see this coming? It's Dominic Cummings gets contract. I wish I was waking. But is that official review now judicial? Question shortcomings of deal. But this isn't backed judicial new act from last year rules out any appeal. It's now 24 with election once more, and so we can't have any cheating. So please no more moaning at short time postponing next year, inquiry world beating. So we reach 25, and for those still alive at last we'll say on with the show. But now old Lord Johnson, he tweets from Wisconsin, it all seems a long time ago. Though evidence waiting with memories fading, it seems like a mountain you're climbing. Though it's in your diary, this public inquiry, this doesn't seem very good timing. 26, 28, getting terribly late. This government's clear we have nothing to fear. Next election brings hope, but it's all been our fault. This inquiry is spurned on what we have learned. I can clearly see this, that they're taking the piss. No sensible folk will put up with this joke of a headache intense in a general sense. Democracy's had its hangover. But the darkness has passed, and it's daylight at last, and the night has been long. Ditto, ditto, my song. And thank goodness they're both of them over. 26, 28, getting terribly late. This government's clear we have nothing to fear. Next election brings hope, but it's all been our fault. This inquiry is spurned on what we have learned. I can clearly see this, that they're taking the piss. No sensible folk will put up with this joke of a headache intense in a general sense. Democracy's had its hangover. But the darkness has passed, and it's daylight at last, and the night has been long. Ditto, ditto, my song. And thank goodness they're both of them over.